Now. Hello and welcome to the Rams Right podcast. I am your host, Simon. First of all, Happy New Year. And that's what the podcast is about today. It's going to be a 2020 year review. And I'm not going to do this on my own. I'm joined by the wonderful, the brilliant, the talented. Now his head's going to get even bigger. Jake Barker. Jake, welcome to the show, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, you're way too kind to me. Thank you very much. No, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh yeah, spot on, mate. Spot on. Did you have a good New Year?
Yeah, it was really good. How was yours?
Yeah, great. I'll just leave it at that.
Just leave it there.
So anyway, we'll skip all the mushy shite. Why not? And we'll go straight into it. Let's talk about Derby. So it's been an interesting year, 2020. The longest season I think ever recorded in history is what it's felt like. We've had off the field incidents. We've had on the pitch glory. On the pitch, not glory. We've had Rooney. We've had Sibley hat tricks. We've had Cocu being sacked. We've had it all. I think we should start at January, which I suppose was where it all began, obviously. And it was Wayne Rooney made his debut for Derby County, which I don't think anybody ever thought we'd ever say. He walked out against Barnsley with the captain's armband on and created assist for Jack Marriott. Jake, going back to January in that Barnsley game, did it really sink in for you that Wayne Rooney was playing for Derby County?
It was a weird one, wasn't it? I remember at the time because obviously the ground was rammed because everyone wanted to go and see Rooney play, and yeah, it was when he created that goal for Marriott, and obviously there were so many cameras there as well because it was a massive moment. Rooney coming back, playing in England again. He's been in America and. No, I don't think it's sunk in yet. To be honest, it's still to a point doesn't feel like that player that I watched so much on TV and on like Match of the Day when I was younger plays for us, and now, well, technically manages us.
Technically, yeah. We'll go into that later.
Yeah.
Don't jump the gun, Jake. We're doing too much. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, it was strange, and I think it was weird actually because if you think about it, if you look back at that game. His performance wasn't the best. He looked out of shape, wandered around a pitch. But what he did do, I suppose, was ping a few decent balls around. And it was like, I think we were a bit sort of awestruck. Wow, that's really Wayne Rooney playing in a Derby County shirt. I can't believe it. It's like, this is not right. We had Frank Lampard managing us the season before. We had Ashley Cole scoring goals for us, and it was like, what's going on? And now it's Wayne Rooney. So, but in a serious note, I mean, before he came in, we were sat in 17th. And we were in a relegate. Well, I think I wouldn't say we're in a massive one, but it felt like we were going to have to start being very, very careful.
Yeah.
But I guess his sort of appearance in January really sort of helped shift things. I mean, I think we had some good results in January, notably the 4-0 win against Stoke, which I think was probably our best performance as well. And I think, was that Wayne Rooney's first goal as well he scored, or was it his second? I can't remember.
Ooh, I can't remember. That's a good question.
No, it was Luton, the Luton away.
Oh, yeah.
We lost to Luton away.
Good game, that.
2-1 up,
yeah.
Rooney scored his first goal and then 4-0 at Stoke. And would you agree that 4-0 at Stoke was our best performance of the, of that season, and at the start of the year?
To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think there were many great performances throughout the season and the year. I was looking back at the results, sort of the results that we had, from the start of Cocu's reign yesterday, and it was weird how few games we won. And I think, that performance. I mean, 4-0 at home. We had Chrissy Martin scoring goals. We had Rooney whipping in a free kick into the top corner, Bogle scoring from 20 yards. It was one of those games, wasn't it? It's one of those games where everything went right. And I don't think until very recently we had a performance that good again.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the ultimate complete performance. But we still couldn't manage to get an away victory. We came close. I think Middlesbrough was probably our best chance. And I think one other thing I'll say about January was we saw the sort of resurgence of Dwayne Holmes.
Yeah.
He really became a key figure in the team. And, people started to notice him and go, oh my God, I love Dwayne Holmes. Don't you think,
Yeah. I think with Dwayne as well was he looked really good at the start of the season. He picked up a little bit of an injury, didn't he? Dropped out of the team for a bit, came back in and scored that volley against Middlesbrough, and he looked like a real player. It's strange now, actually. Just, if you look back how he was back then, he doesn't seem the same player now. But yeah, at that point, he was arguably one of our better players.
Yeah, and it wasn't the only time we put 4. Well, actually, we'll move on now. Actually, we won't move on yet because January saw a big key moment in our club's history when the EFL knocked on the door of Mr. Morris, put a letter through his letterbox, and went, "We're suing you." FFP charges. Derby. Obviously, we were charged for what was it? The amortization policy and the selling of the stadium.
Yeah.
Overpricing it by about what they thought was about 40 million. At the time, I think, were you worried?
No, I'm not going to lie. Not massively. You know when things happen and you just look at it and you just think, what? Yeah. I think that was one of them. And I think it was the fact that it wasn't a full EFL decision, was it? It was more of a Steve Gibson decision that he'd sort of pushed onto the EFL that made it feel a little bit like it doesn't feel like this is going to happen. They've come out with it, and it's a big accusation. It's a big sort of push for them, but it didn't really feel like we were ever in any danger of actually losing.
No, yeah, it was a bit. I think Steve Gibson, for whatever reason, had it in for Mel Morris. He's probably still got it in for Mel Morris.
Does.
And whatever his problem is, does he need? I don't know if he needs a cuddle off Mel Morris or what, because it's a bit relentless, really. And I felt. I mean, because when it happened, when we saw that we sold our stadium for 80 million, and we were was it 14 million in the black?
Yeah, something like that.
We were all buzzing. Oh yeah, Mel's done it again. However, I mean, I think some of the reaction of folk was automatically changed when we saw these charges coming. It was like, oh my God, what's Mel done? Yeah. And it was like, Mel's ruining this club, and I mean, I'm not going to go. Everyone who's listened to the show knows my opinions on Mel Morris, whether they be good or bad. There's a mixture of both.
Yeah.
But yeah, that. For me, I texted my dad when I saw the article in the paper. I was like, Dad, he's proper done us here.
Yeah.
I personally felt that, with the way the EFL were and are with clubs, I think Bolton and things like that, and
Wigan as well.
Wigan, I thought we're going to get done here, and I thought even I know Mel. See, Mel's obviously the king of loopholes, and. Getting and selling your stadium to yourself it's not against the law, but obviously it's the amortization policy as well, how we value our players, so maybe at the time someone like Tom Lawrence had like 4 games where he played really, really well, so we valued him at £9 million or something daft like that. In reality, we're not ever going to get that much for him. So that was January, and we all I think it was weird because I think we had the buzz of Wayne Rooney come in. Performances improving, we were getting results. We finished January on a high. I'm gutted because I missed that game because I was in bed very, very poorly with a temperature, sore throat, and I didn't want to miss that game, but I did, and maybe I had COVID. I don't know.
You never know.
It might have been, so I just know that I was really poorly, and that was the only thing keeping me going in bed. I was like, goal! I can't really celebrate it when Bogle smashed that goal in from the edge of the box, and it was like, what in the world's going on here? Jalen Bogle he's just ran half out of the pitch and stuck one in the top bins against a former England international goalkeeper. It's like, wow. We move on to February then, and February started with another 4 goals at Pride Park. This time it was against Northampton Town in a replay of the FA Cup. It felt a bit embarrassing, really, having to take Northampton. No disrespect to them, but having to take a League Two side to a replay because we couldn't win away from home. It was really embarrassing. But I mean, we got the job done. Goal. I think, we can't remember who scored. Now Wisdom got his first goal.
Wisdom got one, yeah.
That was the craziest goal you've ever seen. We just for about 3 hours. It just comes at his feet.
No one challenged him. He just stood still.
He didn't even like to celebrate, did he?
No.
His first ever goal for Derby. He just went. He's all like stuck his arms out and then ran back. It was like,
yeah.
you know, and I think Dwayne Holmes got one.
Yeah, Holmes got one. Marriott got one, which it was debatable whether his shot crossed the line, and then Malone put it in, didn't he? And then Rooney got the pano.
That's the best goal Rooney's ever scored. That will get down in history. That will. Yeah, bagged the penalty against Northampton Town. But yeah, we conceded 2 then, didn't we?
We did.
I think we were 4-0 up or something daft like that. We conceded 2 goals. And you're thinking, at the time, I was thinking, I don't think, we were 3, what? No, I can't remember.
Might be 3-0, yeah. 2-0, 3-0.
Almost a year ago.
Long time
Forgive me for forgetting. But it happened though. February, we finally got our second away win of the season.
What a win.
In a thrilling game against Swansea City, where I think we went 1-0 up after a Waghorn tap-in when he followed in Lawrence's sort of...
Hit the post, didn't it?
That was it, the post, and then we went 2-1 down after a bit of a calamity from Ben Hamer.
He's a great keeper. Yeah, he wasn't great, was he?
No, I think there was obviously a weak point last season, and it was definitely in between our goals. As much as everyone's going to go, yeah, but you loved Roos. No, I defended Roos. It didn't mean he wasn't. I put some, because he was getting that much criticism, I thought I have to defend him a little bit. And there was times where he was being over-criticised. But hey, that's football, innit? And everyone's got an opinion. We also forgot in January, we beat Crystal Palace. Oh, no, sorry. That's in February. We're in February now. Yeah. We beat Crystal Palace away as well.
That was a good win. They looked rubbish as well, didn't they? We pretty much dominated.
We had a midfield masterclass of Wayne Rooney and Tom Huddleston.
The speed in that midfield.
Just give it a little lump of ball forward. Chris Martin scrambled a ball in, didn't he, from 6 yards for the winner. But we sort of had that win against Swansea. We had the win against Crystal Palace. You think, oh, we're going to gain some momentum here.
Yeah.
And again, the Swansea game, we came from behind to win as well, which I think at the time everyone thought, right, okay, what's going off here? But then we got a draw against Huddersfield Town where we conceded a late goal.
That was frustrating, that was as well. Roos let it in at his near post, didn't he, if I remember rightly?
We were so poor as well. Yeah. And then Tom Lawrence comes out with an absolute moment of genius. Where
what a strike.
25 yards, top bins, keeper's got no chance. And then you're thinking, we've won this. And then Roos, like he says, gets beat at the front post. Similar, if you remember the FA Cup semi-final was between Man United and Arsenal way back in the 90s, where Ryan Giggs stuck one over David Seaman.
Yeah. It
was similar to that, just not as high quality, but it was
not as high stakes either, I'd reckon.
Exactly. But keepers do get beat at the front post. This is one of the things I was trying to defend Roos for. So but yeah, such a frustrating game against Huddersfield, and I think we did lack some quality. And I think Cocker made a statement there because I think he dropped Jayden Bogle, hadn't he?
Yeah.
Which was weird because obviously 3-4 games beforehand he'd scored in Stoke. Then he brought him on as a sub. Bogle makes a mistake and they're in, and and then we got Fulham. We host Fulham, and that for me, the performance that whole game,
we played so well.
That is the best game I've ever seen Wayne Rooney play in a Derby County shirt. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
and we also know what he did.
Yeah, that penalty.
That penalty, I never, ever thought in a million years I'd see a Derby County player score a Panenka penalty kick. But we drew that again.
Well, I think that one was less our fault and more Rodak in goal had the game of his life, didn't he? If I remember rightly, I think that got into like the top 5 goalkeeping performances of the season or something for the EFL.
I'm not surprised because
it was.
He'd had a stinker against Barnsley the game before, Anthony. I think you can see I can't remember how many.
A few,
and he'd sort of, there was one where he'd basically missed his clearance, didn't he? And it was a shambles, and you're thinking, right. And then he comes back and he has the game of his life, and you're just thinking, have we not? You walked away thinking, have we not won that? But you're not. I weren't really frustrated because Fulham were obviously a good side.
Yeah,
pushing for automatic promotion. But yeah, that game, just you're thinking, we saw something really good here. And you think surely now we can sort of push on and And it looked, I think we were starting to climb the table a bit as well. We were getting results, and we're thinking, come on, we can do this. We can do this. And where do we go? QPR. Away in London.
Never
And we
goes
lose
well.
after taking the lead.
Yeah.
You know,
That was a frustrating one.
And did Max Lowe, was that the game Max Lowe got sent off for touching the... Oh, no, that was Luton.
That was Luton, yeah.
Yeah, QPR, such a horrible game. However, we then bounced back with a win against Sheffield Wednesday. And for me, I think this is where we all started to think, you know what, this team's made of something, because Chris Martin, it was like watching a prime Chris Martin. He got a hat-trick of assists.
Bodied that guy.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely smashed that guy. Like straight from kickoff or something, just ran straight into him. Bosh, see ya. Didn't get a free kick, no nothing. It was great.
Get up.
But, oh, yeah, it was just unreal. It was absolutely unreal, that game. And we then backed it. Oh, no, then between that, we got our arses handed to us by Man United.
Yeah, we won't talk about
But let's be honest, there was quite...
well.
Yeah, Sibley played well. Sibley sort of claimed a stake to start in the next game. But going back to that Man United game, I think we had quite a few academy products in that game.
Yeah, we did. And we played with an Evans Forsyth centre-back pairing, which was an interesting one against Man United.
Yeah, you don't sort of expect to really go, we're going to win against Man United with Evans and Fozzie as your fullbacks, as your centre-backs. But yeah, Sibley sort of, boss McTominay, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was an interesting scrap to watch. Really enjoy watching that tussle in midfield. And quite rightly, he deserved his start against Blackburn, and we all know what happened there.
Yeah. Last game any of us went to for Derby, apart from the lucky people who have managed to get in for journalism and stuff like that. I think that for you as well, you haven't been to a Derby game since, have you?
No.
I know.
I'm not, no. Despite what many people think, I am not a journalist.
Really?
I am simply a fan with opinions, and you guys sort of like listening to him. So, yeah, thanks. Yeah, no. What a game. What an absolute game. And again, this is where we really started to kick on and push on, because the performance was immense. And Sibley's goal, welcome to the championship, Louis Sibley. Was when you stick one in like you did from 30 yards, top corner, keeper no chance. And again, Chris Martin. You could see he was playing for a contract. You really could, because he was unreal. Yeah, in these games.
Yeah, I think that game we were starting to properly hit our peak at that point, and that's why I think as we get onto the next few months, it's so frustrating the way we dropped off and the way we sort of lost our momentum a little bit after lockdown.
Definitely, because obviously following that, the COVID ban. Now, what I need now for the next 3 months is a sort of like that whistle you get in films, because then nothing's happening. So yeah, March, April, May, we had no football whatsoever, and it was. I personally feel that sort of wrecked our momentum. I thought,
oh yeah, definitely,
just gone on an absolute barnstorming run here, picking up a few wins. We were playing really good football.
We were playing good football. That was the thing.
It was frustrating because obviously a lot of the season, Philip Cocu was getting stick from many fans, wanting him out. He was boring. His tactics were boring. He was boring, and all of a sudden we started seeing this style of play that was just, it was unreal at times. The teams couldn't handle us. It was possession-based football, and it did take time to build up. But when we played at full tempo, it was so nice to watch. Yeah,
I agree. I think he'd finally got the team, or close to the team that he wanted to play. I think that was the thing. He had Rooney, a fit Rooney, and Bird in midfield who just controlled every game. And then obviously Chris Martin up front, who was bringing the players around him into the game. Tom Lawrence had, he'd hit form and he was scoring goals all over the place. And we just looked like such a good team. And I think it just makes it even more disappointing how everything sort of fell away after that.
Yeah, it was. But we restarted in June of all time, and it was that was the thing. We've not won away from home pretty much all season. We've only got 2-3 away wins. we've just battered Wednesday 3-1. We've just battered Blackburn 3-0. We're going to Millwall, another team that was up there chasing for the top 6. We're starting to climb the table now. I think I tweeted out after the Blackburn game, I'm thinking we can still make playoffs here.
We can push for this, yeah.
Because I know we had 5 of the top 6, I think it was, to play in our last 7 games, last 6 games of the season, something daft like that. But I still felt that playoffs were actually starting to become a reality now.
Yeah. We got up to 7th at one point, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Remember Riley? Yeah.
I think the highest we got was 7th when we were 3 points off the playoffs. And we'll get onto that now because June again. So June's we restarted, played at Millwall, and it was Louis Sibley continuing where he left off. Hat trick.
Yeah.
There's something like the youngest or second youngest Derby player to get a hat trick or something like that.
Second youngest.
Second youngest. You just thought this is it now. I've watched Louis Sibley in the academy since he was 16, and I thought. When I first saw him play, I think it was just a pre-season game under Frank Lampard. I thought this kid's going to go far.
Yeah.
Just because he just didn't seem like a normal 16-year-old player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get.
He's a bit more aggressive. Well, a lot more aggressive
than most
16-year-olds. I mean, he's putting crunching tackles on seasoned pros, and it's like he doesn't care. He's just a player that wants to play football, and his hat trick against Millwall was, you just thought.
All 3 goals were good goals as well. I think that was what made it even more impressive. All 3, I can't remember the second one, but the first one, he beat 2 players, put it in the top corner. And then the one at the end where Forsyth put it across and he guided it literally at about 2 miles an hour, but he put it right in the corner.
Yeah.
And the keeper just couldn't get to it. And it's like finishes like that you'd expect from someone that's been playing for years, not someone who's making their second ever league start.
I know. It was just thinking, and that was it. That game then for me went, right, that's it. We're obviously not got a COVID hangover. We've just continued where we left off. And then it continued on into July. We played Reading, we beat them 2-1, and then Lawrence got sent off for having a fight at the end of the game.
Yeah.
I think Rooney got a penalty in that game. Then we went on against and played Preston. Another victory.
Beat them, yeah.
Beat them 1-0, a Rooney free kick. And Rooney was unfit when he came back from COVID. And we're not going to lie, he put some timber on. And it wasn't good, was it?
No.
It really wasn't.
I think after lockdown 1, because obviously there's been a few, after lockdown 1, I don't think we've had the same Rooney that we had in those first 2 months. Or first 3 months.
No,
it doesn't feel like the same player, does it? When you watch him play, or when you watched him play, he didn't seem to be the same guy. And I think as we go along, because we didn't win again, did we? Until the last game of the season after that Preston game, I'm pretty sure we either drew or lost every single game. Until that Birmingham game. Yeah.
So July then we started off with a 1-1 last minute equaliser from Chris Martin, his first ever goal against Nottingham Forest, his last ever goal for us.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. He scored against Leeds.
Was it
against Leeds?
He scored against Leeds?
Yeah, he scored the opener.
Why have I forgot? Why did I think it was?
Because we lost.
I thought it was Knight. I thought it was Jason Knight.
No, it's Chris Martin.
Balls. I've messed that up. Right, I'm sacking myself. I'm off. Take over, Jake. See you later. That's my bad. Oh no. Did Knight have a goal disallowed?
He might have done.
Or he missed a sitter. One of the two. I know
Something
that.
happened.
Something like that. I didn't mean Jason Knight scored, but yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah, he did score against Leeds. But yeah, that 1-1 game, I don't know what really happened there, because we were awful.
Yeah, we were really poor.
It wasn't a pleasant spectacle to watch. It was almost like we went, right, we know they play a counter-attacking football. To stop them playing the counter-attacking football, we'll play counter-attacking football. And it was just, oh, God, it was awful.
It was awful. And we made a big mistake, didn't we, near the start? Basically gifted them a goal.
Yeah.
And then, we barely created anything all game. And then just happens to be Whittaker's making a run in like the 95th minute. Waghorn's already been sent off. Yeah. Whittaker gets pulled down by Joe Worrell, and we just happen to get lucky. Evans heads it across. It hits Chris Martin somewhere.
Yeah, I think he's like bang, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was weird though, because I mean, Butterfingers Bryce Samba dropped it, didn't he, onto Evans, and he just knocks it back across, and Martin just chucked his body at it. And when I first saw it, because obviously the ref didn't give it straight away, did it? I thought, that's in, it's a goal. I was celebrating.
Yeah.
And then my nephew sort of went, I was watching with my nephew, went, no, it's not in, he's not giving it. And then it just went, I was like, oh, again. We're there. And it was just like, yeah, you don't really care that you played absolutely awful.
Yeah.
Getting a draw like that, because let's be honest, at the time, Forest
they were better than us.
They were a better side up until that point last season.
Yeah.
And then what happened is we got that last minute draw, and then they sort of capitulated.
Yeah, they didn't win again. They didn't win again until like, I can't remember when it was. It was like October or something like that. So we really put a dampener on their season.
I mean, yeah, and then as you said, we then didn't win a game until the final game of the season. In fairness, we had West Brom, who went up. Were they automatics or did they go up playoffs?
Automatics, yeah, because Fulham won in the playoffs, didn't they?
Yeah, we had Brentford, who we got battered by, failed in the playoffs. We had Cardiff, who failed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we had Leeds, who ultimately won the championship. The frustrating thing about Leeds is we went 1-0 up and went, we can't be arsed anymore, didn't we?
Yeah. Oh, the thing was, the worst bit is it was a little bit humiliating for us because they'd all been out, hadn't they? Because they'd already won the league, so they'd all been out. They'd barely trained for a couple of days, and they still went out and beat us.
Yeah, the end to that season, and then obviously Birmingham in July. To be honest, I sort of obviously we won 3-1, but I tuned out of that game, and I was looking what was going on at Forest.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah.
I had no interest because it. To be honest, with the first half was I think we won all, wasn't it? No, I think it was after they got their equaliser that I just went, oh, you know what, we're playing awful because we took an early lead, didn't we?
Yeah, Shinnie scored with his right foot.
Yeah, I know.
A rarity.
Right foot.
Yeah.
And then they got an equaliser early in the second half. I can't be arsed now. It was boring. I still had it on, but I wasn't watching it because it was more entertaining what was going on Sky Sports News.
Yeah.
What was going on with our neighbours, you know. The end to that season for me was, you know, it had almost felt like we built it up and we think, right, we could get the playoffs there. Then they went, can't be arsed with the playoffs.
It was deflating, wasn't it? Just watching it. It felt like in some games we were just going through the motions a little bit, and it didn't help that obviously Rooney, who'd been so inspirational before, had let himself go, or what seemed to be let himself go a little bit, and he just wasn't doing what he was doing. And I remember because in that Birmingham game, he made the mistake for the goal.
Yeah,
he missed a kick, and he'd done it a few times, and then obviously that built up more and more, and then we come to this season and it just carried on. And I think that was frustrating at the time, and that's what made it even more frustrating a few months down the line.
Yeah, it did sort of feel that way. It was, I agree. I think it got to a certain point, maybe after the West Brom game, after the Forest game, and then we dropped 2 points. Well, we didn't drop 2 points. We never even had them, but obviously we only got a point, and Cardiff, I think, started winning. Then, I think we obviously lost against West Brom. And I think after that West Brom game where we ended up with something like 9 academy products on the pitch, or 10, I think it was.
Yeah.
It felt to me that it was showing where we were at. When you're ending a game with, only one sort of, I guess, senior pro,
yeah,
on the pitch, you think, this team isn't going to go for playoffs now.
Well, that's the thing. Like, obviously, the players that did come on, people like Jordan Brown, brilliant players. I've watched a lot of the academy for quite a while, and I've seen all these players come through, and they are really good players. But you can't put 8 or 9 of them on a pitch at once and expect them to compete with a team of senior pros. It just isn't. It isn't viable, is it? And I think that's one of the reasons why we did struggle near the end.
It's interesting though, because obviously we were coming to the end of the season, and at the start of the season, I know we're backtracking now to 2019, but just at the start of that season, Mel Morris obviously had a plan for Cocu. By this season, he wanted half of the starting lineup to be academy products.
Yeah.
And I think it felt almost like Cocu was going, well, I've shoved 9 on for you there, shoved 6 on for you there. We're getting battered.
Yeah.
These players we're not ready. We can't do this. It's not going to happen next season. They're far from it. But that's always the case, though. So for me, it was sort of showing him that it can't be done, or or maybe he was
Yeah.
thinking I can get a few in, I can get them on the bench, I can get them in and around the first team, which as we've seen already this season, they are there, they are filling up the bench, but to start them, it's a damn near impossible task. So that took us to the end of the season. Now, obviously, there was some off the field incidents, which Jake has written down, which we can discuss. Come on, Jake. Get your list out, lad.
There were many.
There were many.
I've got a nice list of them here. So everything that happened at the end of the season, obviously there was the stuff that happened with Mason Bennett, which I think the less said the better. The 30th of June. I think one thing that we've not actually mentioned is Wisdom stabbing.
Yeah,
I think that derailed our season away, because I like George Evans, but the impact that it had on the team, obviously losing, because at the time he was quite a key figure. And I think he is again now. He was a key figure in the back line, and to lose a player in the way that you lose the player, it caused quite a few problems. I don't think we literally didn't win after that until the end of the season. Like we drew or lost every single game after he got stabbed, and then Sorry, go on.
You're rushing on. Calm yourself down.
I'll slow down.
I think it was weird actually, because if you look at last season as a whole, the back line changed. The only consistent figure in that back line was Clark.
Yeah.
Other than that, you had Evans filling in, you had Davis, you had obviously Keogh before he was sacked. Thank God we're not doing a 2019-20 review. That would be a bit of a freaking nightmare.
That would be a long one.
Oh God. And obviously then Wisdom became that key figure next to Matt Clark, and they sort of formed a partnership. And I think losing him to such a really one-off event, getting stabbed. When we read it in the papers, and obviously me and you were both part of the the fundraising for the flag, and everything. I think it hit home with a lot of Derby fans with the amount of money that we raised, and also with how big a character and how people felt about Andre Wisdom himself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because to get, it was over $6,000, weren't it? I think
around $6,000
in about 3 or 4 days. And when you've got players donating and you've got the chairman donating money as well, you sort of go, wow, okay, obviously, you don't have to any player, but obviously there must be something that people like about Andre Wisdom that says, I will give money to this. Let's get a flag for us. And obviously, we worked hard getting, trying to organise this flag, and we had 3-4 days of absolute mayhem, trying to get this flag done before the Forest game. And I will say it now, Jake. But it was an absolute pleasure working with you on that project.
Oh, same with you.
It was you and Jack did the design for it. Cracking design. And then the logistics of everything. That was,
Yeah, it was funny watching Tom Bishop try to ask about 50 different flag manufacturers if they could make it by the weekend. That was quite good to see.
There's a lot of work that went in behind it. Obviously, people that raised money didn't know, but we had bless him, Tom Bishop _Bish_ on Twitter, ringing round every single manufacturer you can find to get a flag done for the weekend, and everyone going, no, it can't be done. And then out of the blue,
just finds one. It's like, okay.
And out of the blue, an old neighbor of mine got in contact with me and went, I work for a printing firm, we can get it done no problem by Saturday. And it was like, what? That's insane. Do you know the gutting thing about it is?
What?
Is we went and dropped the flag off in a box.
I've never seen the flag.
And we've never seen it.
I've genuinely never seen it.
You know what I mean? It's like,
I know.
How good? Where is it? It's gone missing. I swear.
It's in the ground somewhere.
So it's in a 12-foot by 8-foot cupboard somewhere, isn't it? Like,
probably.
Put it in there. Can you imagine the person having to fold that back up?
Oh, I feel bad.
Remember when you used to fold sheets with your mum?
Yeah.
Everyone get in the corner, walk together. That was sort of, it was. I guess it was a bad time, but it was great. The one thing that I took from that though was how how nice it felt for the fan base to come together, and raise the money for that flag. You can move on now to your next point, Jake. I know you're desperate to do so.
Are you sure?
Yeah, go for it.
It's okay. Okay, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the 25th of August, which is actually my birthday, I got a very good birthday present that was the EFL charges being dismissed, which I think was it's a celebratory moment.
What a birthday!
I know.
Can you imagine that? Here you go, Jake. Here's your card for your present. Daily Derby and Telegraph. Fucking bosh. There you go. Look at that. Cleared of all charges. Happy birthday, Jake.
It was a good one, wasn't it? It was a good one.
We talked about it, and it was obviously I remember reading some of the paperwork and how much was Steve Gibson and Middlesbrough mentioned in it.
So many times. It was ridiculous, wasn't it?
But it was an embarrassment. Yeah, I swear the lawyer, is it Nick DeMarco, his name?
Yeah.
He must have been laughing at that when they went round to grounds like the Pirelli Stadium.
Yeah.
And compared it with Pride Park. Isn't the Pirelli Stadium like a 6,000-seater stadium?
Yeah, I've been to the Pirelli a lot. I literally live like really not far from it. So I used to go a lot when I was younger. And when I saw that they compared the two grounds together, it's ridiculous. They've only got one sitting stand, and the sitting stand holds just under 1,000. And the rest of it's standing, and it's one tier.
Oh, it's an embarrassment.
It's not even anywhere similar.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when the lawyer went, talking about me. Bad. Here you go, jury, independent, whatever. Have a look at that. This is a 33,000-seater stadium. Here's a 6,000-seater.
Yeah.
Here's the Globe. Is it the Globe Stadium or something like that? Morecambe Stadium.
Oh yeah.
2,000-seater stadium. Look at that. Look how they compare.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Laughable. Absolutely laughable. But the only thing now, then, obviously, it all got cleared apart from the amortization policy, which is under appeal, and we still have no idea where we are with this appeal, because, as we've said before many times on this program, Derby County are impossible to find anything out about. They are like a closed book, a sealed safe that nothing ever comes out unless Mel Morris wants it to, which for the fans, I guess, it's frustrating. It really is, especially when it's things that I understand that they can't let us know everything. Yeah. But just a little snippet of hope might, sometimes enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you. I get what you mean.
Just a little bit, we're all right. That would be fine. We're sound. So yeah, that was the EFL appeal. That's in August. Obviously, the season starts.
Just
badly,
that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very badly indeed.
We had half a squad, didn't we? I think that was the problem.
Yeah, fitness was shocking. We played Barrow. We drew again. That was
went to
a League Cup game where we drew against a League Two side, a newly promoted League Two side. 0-0. We looked all out of sorts. Everything looked awful.
Yeah, we looked dreadful.
The hero of the day, though,
Whittaker.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Keller-Roos, a hat-trick of penalty saves. Keller-Roos, the hero.
The hero.
Whittaker got the winning penalty, weren't it?
Yeah.
two players that got absolutely ripped apart at the fan base, and they went, "Stuff you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it didn't really get any better, did it? If we go through, I could go for every month, really, couldn't I?
Yeah.
September, awful. Did we get a win?
Sad.
When did we go?
Did we beat Norwich in September? I don't know whether it was October or not.
I'm gonna have a look now.
I actually can't remember.
Was it really that bad a start to the season?
Yeah, we didn't win for like our first 5 games, did we? And then we won against Norwich.
It has
the Rooney free kick.
Really bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, we didn't win again until Millwall, which is like game 15 or 16.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Ooh. Yeah, we lost against Reading. Then we lost against Preston.
That was depressing. That was in the cup, wasn't it?
In the cup, yeah. Then we lost against Luton.
God.
And in fairness, we saw the against Luton. I don't think we played particularly bad.
Yeah, I agree. I think we played.
And we saw new signings. Oh yeah, we did the transfer window.
Oh
God, I'm not going to go for everyone.
I don't even want to think about the transfer. We all know that
Max Lowe and Jayden Bogle went for somewhere between 5 million and 20 million, depending which person on Twitter you ask. Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people say 5, some people say 11, some people say 20. So they left. Bennett went to Millwall, which I think was on the cards after the Burn incident.
Yeah.
Malone went on loan. Yozozu went to Rotherham. Did anybody else go? Can't think of it off the top of my head.
A few youth players went on loan, didn't they?
Couple of youth players, yeah.
Yeah.
Incoming though, we had David Marshall, Scotland's #1 keeper.
Good signing.
Great sign, absolutely. Well, in fairness, if we look at our transfer window, we had David Marshall come in. We had Nathan Byrne come in. We had Mike Taveric come in. Technically signed.
Yeah.
January, but he came in and one of them. We had Kamil Jozwiak come in.
Yeah.
After about 3 weeks of people going, is he coming? Is he not? People looking at flight radars and going, that could be his flight. You know, we all become
dodgy Polish sites that were like, yeah, he's definitely signed. like before any contact had been made. It's like, all right.
All right, okay, we'll believe you. It's fine. Yeah, you gotta love the transfer window, don't you? Jeez. So Jozwiak, Jordan Ibe.
Jordan Ibe, that's an interesting one.
Bobby Duncan.
Yeah.
Interesting one. And last but not least, I think, if I'm right, was Colin Kazim Richards, who everyone went, are you taking the piss? Why are we signing a 34-year-old who never scored a goal?
Yeah.
And he's all of a sudden become this cult hero that it's like, okay.
It's what we needed.
It is, but this is the thing. If you look at our transfer window, everybody went, that's some window, that is. Everyone sort of went, that's a great window. And I suppose the only flop's been Mike Taveric, who I have no idea what's going on.
No, I thought he was quite good. We haven't really mentioned sort of that far, but the Bournemouth game, we drew. We conceded quite late on, didn't we?
Yeah.
And we played with a back three, and he played on the right-hand side. And I thought he had a really good game because obviously he'd had poor games before, but in that game he really stepped up, and then he disappeared and has never been seen again.
No, it's a bit of
all right.
Yeah, it's like, but if you look at the papers now, he could be going in January. So it's like,
yeah, it makes sense for him.
Yeah, I
understand it.
Because I think he did it with a Dutch journalist, didn't he? It sounds as if he's a bit homesick.
Yeah,
and I suppose with Cocu leaving as well, it's it's sort of like
he's got another Dutch person there though at the minute.
Yeah, we'll get onto that. Wait.
Okay, sorry.
Wait. We've got to do it in order. So yeah, after. So that was pretty much, in fairness, you've said about Bournemouth, but we pretty much went through. We had, so very disappointing scores. Looking at back at it now, you go, lost against Preston, lost against Luton, got absolutely hammered by Blackburn.
That was bad. Rooney had a shocker that day. I remember that.
I know, yeah. They all did, but Rooney, I think Rooney was at fault for 2 goals.
2 or 3, he just gave him the ball and didn't drop back.
And then we went to then he redeemed himself by pinging a last minute free kicking against Norwich, and we got our first win after they'd missed a penalty and it slipped, didn't he? Was it Pukki? Yeah, he slipped.
Yeah, Pukki put it over the bar.
Ooh. So and we sort of went, right, okay. Philip Cocu questioned the players' attitude and stuff. Then they come out and they play this absolutely solid defensive sort of game, and then they get a free kick on the. I suppose it was a Jason Knight 40-yard burst, weren't it?
Yeah, great run.
He just sort of went, picked up the ball and gone, and then got took out about 20 yards out. It was like goal. So we thought, I think we all thought, okay, we've got a solid foundation now. We showed a bit of passion, showed a bit of fight. Can we move on? The answer was no. we lost. We then lost against Watford. Again, I think the only chance we had was when Rooney pinged in a free kick. I think it didn't just go just wide or something.
Yeah,
that was about the only chance. Then we lost against Huddersfield 1-0.
Again, a lot of 1-0 defeats or 2-1 defeats, weren't there?
Yeah, I think there's a theme coming. Then we go to Nottingham Forest, and we were cruelly denied a winner from Jozwiak.
Still upset about that.
And I'm absolutely devastated. However, it brings us to the other off-the-field incident where Rooney came in contact with someone with COVID, so he was dropped. Well, not dropped, but he wasn't allowed to play. And then all of a sudden, we switched from a 4-2-3-1 to a 3-4-3, and it was like, actually,
we look better.
Football now. It's weird.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
You know what I mean? Graham Shinnie comes in for Wayne Rooney, brings his energy and passion and desire into the midfield, and we start actually playing well. And yeah, do you think things would have been different if that goal had been allowed against Forest or not?
I think, Yes and no. I think Cocu would have been in his job longer. I think we might have picked up a little bit, but I think the underlying problems were still there.
Yeah.
And I think even if we won against Forest, we'd still have had the same problems just a
Yeah.
couple of weeks further down the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. It's and another theme as well. Again, another 1-1 draw this time against Cardiff. Then against Bournemouth, have you mentioned? And in that time, obviously, we scored the 1, 2, 3, 4 goals, and I think all of them were from free kicks, weren't they?
Yeah, genuinely. Waghorn scored 2 in 2, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, he did. Yeah, and that was this is the issue. We cannot score from open play. We then played QPR, lost. I actually thought we played all right in that game.
Yeah, I thought we did okay as well.
QPR, we played all right, and then then we went to Bristol City again. I thought we played all right. Actually, no, sorry. Before I get to Bristol. We then went to Barnsley, and we were awful. We were shy.
That was dreadful.
Absolutely dreadful.
Marshall made that mistake, didn't he?
Yeah, and that basically signalled the end for Philip Cocu.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I think with everything he had to do, with everything he was asked to do, I just think it was the impossible task.
Yeah, I think especially with the way he wanted us to play, it just wasn't viable, especially for a team in the position we were in. And I think that's ultimately what led to his big downfall. Was he wanted us to play a certain way, and even when we were struggling and we couldn't do it, he wouldn't change the way we were playing. He wouldn't, change the system. Like, yeah, we went to 3 at the back, but we still played exactly the same football, just with people in different positions. And I think that's what sort of caused the end for him. I think because once the players stopped performing, once the players stopped playing for him, it just made him run out of time. He just, if he'd carried on for longer, I could see us being well off at the bottom. We could have been, 6-7 points behind. And I think, I don't think that's a position we wanted to be in.
Yeah, it was interesting though, because he wasn't sacked. It was a mutual agreement. So I think there was theories going about where he had to play Wayne Rooney and he didn't want to play Rooney because he could see that Rooney was the weak link. Obviously, there's the academy thing now. I think that's one thing we have to praise him for, though, is the academy and how he's been involved in that. We've seen the likes of successful people, I would say. Max Bird last season, definitely.
Yeah.
Probably the first name on the team sheet, along with Rooney. This season, at the moment, struggling.
Yeah.
Jason Knight, who, is just
good player,
a very good player. I think he does a lot of running. I think there's a few tweaks. There's a few places he can improve. Final ball potential at times.
Yeah.
He's making sometimes. I think there's a couple of times against Sheffield Wednesday, our last game, where he got to the byline and rather than putting a nice ball in, he just oofed it as hard as he could across.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just some fine points, but that will come. You've got to remember he's got only 19, 20, or something like that. And I think obviously Louis Sibley as well.
Yeah.
I'll put him in there because I know at the moment he's not at his fair crack of the whip. He was really good again at the back end of last season. This season again struggled to get in. However, I thought against Birmingham, where we won 4-0, he was
good.
Very good.
I did see that he had more shots on target than completed passes in that game, which made me laugh. But that's good though.
Yeah.
In a way, that's good because he's driving forwards, he's creating chances, and that's the sort of thing we've needed for a long time. Someone that runs directly at people.
Oh, without doubt. Without doubt, I think that's, the only criticism of Sibley is his aggression. Sometimes he just needs to know when to rein it in. I saw him get sent off in under 23's game for two very, very similar tackles, where he comes sliding in on a wet pitch. So you travel about, you just slide on your arse about a mile before you make contact with the player. And that will come though again. But the thing is, this is what Wayne Rooney was like when he was his age. He was this aggressive sort of like pound into every tackle. And they managed to sort of cut that out of him. And I think for maybe a season, maybe a bit longer, it sort of affected him a bit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know it
Yeah.
sounds a bit weird, but he couldn't be that aggressive player. So it stopped him being the good player we all knew. But then he sort of found a way to find that balance,
Yeah.
getting the right aggression and the right way of like skillfulness, I suppose. And I think with Sibley, he's got the right mentor there with Wayne Rooney,
definitely
to help him. So yeah, I mean, obviously other academy players have had their chances. Hector Ingram's getting some minutes now. Whittaker, who it's a strange one.
Yeah.
For Whittaker, he's clearly too good for under-23s. You put him in the 23s, he bosses it. He's far too good for that level. But is he quite ready for the championship? For me, not at the minute.
See, for me, it's a different sort of. The way I see it is a little bit different to how I've seen people put it on social media. I think with Whittaker is that.
Are we going to have a debate here? Are we going to have a debate here?
We're going to have let's have a Whittaker debate. so with Whittaker, so he's a left-footed player, and when you're from my perspective, because I'm left-footed as well, and I've been shifted out to the wings in my time, and when you're a left-footed player on the left, it's a very different scenario to being left-footed on the right, and obviously vice versa for right-footed. Because when you're on the right, they expect you to cut inside, which means that if you go outside, it's more unexpected and you can go both ways. And that's why Whittaker, when he plays on the right for the 23s, creates a lot of chances because he goes inside, goes outside. When he's on the left, and he's been brought on the left for the last few games, that game where he got subbed on and then subbed off again, he started on the left or came on the left.
Yeah.
And all he's got is going left.
Yeah.
Because if he goes right, he's on his weaker side and the defender will beat him to it. And he's not got that space to run into that he'd have on the other side. So because he was brought on the left wing, all he's got is run, cross.
Yeah.
And because he's obviously, unlike players like Juszczyk who have the ability, because obviously Juszczyk's a bit older, Juszczyk's got a lot more experience and, he's a really good technical player. He can get out of those situations, whereas Whittaker at this point in time can't. So that's why I think if Whittaker played on the right or came on the right, I think he'd be a lot better than he is coming in on the left. But at the same time, I do think you have a point. I think he's got a lot to prove before he plays at championship level.
Yeah. So you weren't going to debate me, then you agreed with me. Yeah. For me, I think another issue, though, as well, with Whittaker, as well as some of, a lot of the younger lads, is their body size, body shape. You look at Whittaker, he's got this small, dangly frame.
Yeah.
And if you are going to play him on the left, then he's got to take on his man. It means he's got to do it for pace.
Yeah.
If you get an experienced championship left back, right back, whatever, he's going to use his strength all day against Whittaker. You see it. And that was part of his problem when he came on again on the left-hand side and then got taken off again. He was just getting done every single time by their fullback because he was stronger than him. He just put his body in the way, you're not getting past me. And I think if he was loaned out, he would get the experience because he'd be playing. The thing is, he'd need to go to a club where he was getting regular game time.
Yeah, I agree.
Regardless of the situation of how he was playing, because they need to give him that chance to adapt. We'll probably end up seeing him go to Billy Burton Albion this
That'd be a perfect
especially with Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank back. He loves, if Clough was still here, he'd be there. I just think they'd probably give him a chance to show what he's got. He will bulk up with time. That's naturally going to happen. As he gets older, he will gain strength. But that's his weak point for him at the minute is his strength. Because if he goes past the player, like you said, you put him on the right side, he can cut back in onto his left foot. He can stick one in the top bins. He can look for a cross, things like that. He doesn't have to take on his man.
Yeah.
When he's playing on the left, he has to. And he hasn't got that ability to do that. Whereas, like you said, Juszczyk obviously is 22, I think he is, something like that. But he's got experience of national team. He's grown up in a league where you get kicked from pillar to post, so you have to be strong. And you've got to get used to people trying to push off the ball. And he's at a different level. Yeah, you see him struggle sometimes, but you also know he's got the ability and the skill to take a defender on, which we've seen many times.
And the experience,
and the experience there. And to be honest, Kamil Juszczyk, we all hyped him up as we do every transfer window when we see a foreign player coming to Derby. We hype, and then we go, oh God, please be good. He's actually, he's settled in. I think he's settled in really well. And I think we've had the return of Christian Bielik as well, which has also helped him settle in because I did see it a lot, especially against Birmingham. They were trying to combine. He was playing balls in for him, and Bielik was playing balls for Jozef to run onto, etc. They have got that,
that chemistry.
That chemistry, yeah. So that's great to see. But we sort of have drifted on. But yeah, we've had a bit of debate. That's fine. But yeah.
It's always good.
It is. It's good. So yeah, that for me, Philip Cocu then is, will be his, what he's going to be known for is what he's done with the academy. I think, maybe he's not a manager. Well, not in this league anyway. But he needs to go to a top club that is going to have, because I think as well, he's trying to play football like Barcelona.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, I think he's the sort of man that, he wants things done in a regimented way, if you know what I mean. Like he's been brought up to when he played at Barcelona, things don't change. And, Barcelona, everything is football. You live, breathe, and die football. That is all it is. And I think he was trying to bring that philosophy to Derby. It's not going to work with championship players. The young kids,
I agree.
I think it will do, because they're young and they're willing, and they want to listen, they want to learn. So you will have them kids that've got that attitude, which is what we've had when we've seen the likes of Knight, the likes of Bird and Sibley.
Yeah, they've bought into it, haven't they?
When I'm going to nail onto what this guy's saying. Whereas you look at some of the more senior players, they may have not wanted to do that. We don't know. This is all just obviously speculation.
Speculation.
It's not, it's just a theory.
I saw someone put that, obviously this isn't someone that's inside, but they've put, it sounds like Philip Cocu has tried to bring in an elite level regime with non-elite level players. And I think that's what's eventually causes downfall a little bit, because the senior players, players that are like mid-20s, early 30s, or even beyond that, they're not going to want to change the ways that they've been doing things for years. If, say, I don't know, you're 33, you've been trained a certain way for so many years, this bloke comes in and says, right, we're going to do double sessions, we're going to be doing all of this, we're doing all this extra work, you can't do this, you can't drink, you can't go anywhere. You're not going to react well.
No. And
I think that's what's caused his downfall in the end. I don't know what you think. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, mate, there was some players that you could tell. We could tell by the end of his reign, we don't like to say it, but they'd lost the dressing room.
Yeah,
players just weren't believing in him anymore, or I won't say too lazy, or they just weren't enjoying.
Yeah.
When everyone can say, "Oh yeah," but they should, they earn thousands and all this, and yeah, they should play and they should earn their money, but they are still human. If you're doing a job, exactly, no matter how much you're paid, whether you're on minimum wage or whether you're on 50 grand a year, if you're doing a job and you're bored and you're not liking it, you're not going to do it to you. It's just human. It's who we are. It's how you're wired up in your brain.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree.
Cocu leaves then. It was end of November, weren't it?
Mid-November, 14th.
Mid-November, sorry. And then the weirdest thing happened. Instead of getting a manager to replace him, we decided to go, we're not going to have just one manager, we're going to have four.
It's the best way to do it.
A quartet of Wayne Rooney, who, by mind, is still playing at this point as well. Justin Walker from the academy, Liam Rosenior, the assistant, and Shay Given.
It's a strange group. It was. When you look back at it, it was like, no wonder it didn't work. What amused me was you seeing Rooney pointing and telling people to do this, that, and the other on the pitch. And then you've got Liam Rosenior going, do this, that, the other from the pitch. Yeah.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. I'm glad that it was only 2 games, wasn't it, that we played with that? I say only, it was about 2 games too many. But it was only 2 games that we basically sacrificed in order to make the decision of putting Rooney as like the one man and taking him off the pitch. Because in that Borough game, he worked probably the hardest he'd actually worked all season. But again, he had another poor game. And whilst he was meant to be managing at the same time, and it was like people were getting to a point where they're like, come on, mate, you've got to stop.
The players, especially more so in the Middlesbrough game, I felt, but the players, rather than the Bristol game, but the players looked just as confused as us.
Yeah.
They had no idea what to do, where to go.
Yeah.
But then Mr. Mel Morris came along with his master plan and his master idea. The biggest announcement, the biggest thing to happen in 2020. The return of Steve McClaren.
My favourite Dutch coach.
Another, we sacked one Dutch coach and bring another one as a technical advisor. Mr. Steve McClaren returns to a mixed reception, I think we'll say, because I know obviously we've got a little bit of a group going on Twitter, and we were all like, buzzing, I suppose. Yeah. We were like, get in there.
I love Steve McClaren.
Oh, it's the nostalgia that comes with it, though.
Yeah,
it really is, isn't it? Let's be honest. And then you've got the other half of people that go, he's a snake, he's a snide, he ran away, he left his No, he didn't, he was in shit. Let's be honest, he got sacked. He never went to Newcastle.
Yeah.
He got sacked before he went. Yes, he could have. He came back before he got us out of stuck. I generally thought it's a brilliant appointment. I thought, hang about what they've done here. They can't appoint a manager because of the takeover.
Yeah.
Have we missed that? Have we missed that event? We're in November now. We must have done.
We are 8 days. 8 days ahead of it. Yeah, we have missed the takeover. Yeah.
So before the Steve was announced, the takeover was announced. That is still, to this day, bearing in mind we're in 2021 now. Yeah, only 3 days in, technically. It's still going on.
I know.
What I'm going to do, we'll go on to Steve, and then we'll come back to takeover. But yeah, then Steve McClaren gets bringing it. And one of his first things to do is put Rooney in charge.
Yeah.
That is what it's believed. I think it was the Athletic that reported that, was that it was basically Steve's job. He came in after the Middlesbrough game and went, get stuff, you three. Rooney, you're in charge. We need one voice. And that was, great decision.
It was. It was. Especially in hindsight, you can see the difference in the team since then is ridiculous. The way we're running, the way we're pressing, the way we actually seem to kind of know what we're doing. It's such a change, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Rooney comes in as sole manager, and we get two. We change. We stick to a 4-2-3-1, and we become defensively solid, and we manage to score a couple of goals.
Yeah,
which is an achievement in itself for us. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
But we're still conceding late on, against Wickham and Coventry. Two very scrappy goals as well.
Annoying games.
Then we go to Millwall.
Second win of the season.
We're going up, Again, actually, I think the goal's from open play as well, wasn't it?
Jason Knight,
Knight, open play. So what we've done then is we've mastered a clean sheet and we've got a goal from open play. Then we get a 0-0 against Brentford and Stoke. And then we all of a sudden become 2013, 2014 Derby County and absolutely hammer Swansea 2-0. And I know it's only 2-0.
We battered them.
Yeah,
we played them off the park. That's up until recently, that was also recent. Yeah. Up until, a couple of games later, that is the best I've seen us play in so long. I'd say the performance in that game was better than the 4-0 against Stoke. Mainly because Swansea Stoke were rubbish that day. Yeah. They were terrible, and we were good, but they made us look really good. Whereas Swansea were not a bad team, and we made them look average.
Yeah,
and I think that was what impressed me the most, especially considering we'd only won 2 games in 15 at that point.
Yeah. No, All right, no, I'll let you have that. I'll give you that. And then of course we lose against Preston 1-0 with 10 men. We played with 10 men for about 70 minutes.
Yeah.
I go an idiot, and we lose to a last-minute goal, and it would just, you think, oh, great. Then we go to Birmingham, and we put on a show. Birmingham in December, in the snow.
Again.
1-0. Again. The only thing that didn't happen again was that Craig Forsyth didn't score. But again, we put on another McClaren-esque performance. Yeah. And I think, for me, that was the point where I went, right, who's actually running this show? Is it Rooney? Is it McClaren? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It did make me think, because obviously I've heard a lot in the past about McClaren as a manager, especially when he was at Newcastle. And he's apparently not a fantastic man-manager, but he is a brilliant coach.
Yeah.
And that made me think, because technically McClaren is doing a lot of the coaching work at the minute. And then Rooney's doing a lot of the man management stuff.
Yeah.
And after that 4-0, it made me think, we've really got a good team here. We've got a good group of people.
Yeah. You look at McLaren, though. Jim Smith is assistant, get promoted. How many years was he assistant to Alex Ferguson?
A while.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
whatever we're doing at the moment, just keep it that way.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't actually have to talk about Sheffield Wednesday game because that was technically in January.
That's good.
So,
That's good. I'm glad.
Yeah, we will finish off 2020 by going to the takeover. Obviously, you were actually on the last podcast I did about the takeover.
Yeah, I was.
Didn't really talk much about the takeover.
Indirectly, but yeah.
Indirectly. But yeah, if you haven't listened to it, you can search and you'll find it. You skip the first half hour. It's just Jake talking.
Yeah,
nonsense.
skip me. Listen to the
second half hour is with don't worry about Jake. It's fine. He'll get over it. He's here now. You've got him for a full hour now. It's fine. But yeah, go and listen to the last half hour from Salam Hafez, who is a former BBC journalist who works out in Dubai, UAE, that sort of area. Has a lot of information about the Sheikh. Now, Jake, this takeover, oh my God. It's dragging on a bit, isn't it?
Getting sick of it. It's got to a point now where, I won't believe anything that anyone says until the corner flag appears and tells me that it's happened.
What's it been now? Is it 7 weeks since they first announced it?
Around that.
Principle or something like that. That's a positive, though. You've got the agreement in principle. And then obviously, I think it was quite. We were all going, "What's going on with takeover?" I'm getting asked by every man and his dog. Do you know anything about takeover?
Yeah. Me too. I don't know anything.
Every fan's asking every other fan at the moment, "Do you know anything about a takeover?" It's like, no.
Yeah.
If I did, it would have come from Mel Morris, and I wouldn't be able to tell you, otherwise he'd stab me or something like that. You know what I mean? That would be gone. I'd be deleted off the face of Twitter. But no one knows. And then the Athletic pull an article out saying that the Sheikh still owes a bit of cash from his former from the Newcastle takeover, so owes some legal fees. Jake, I'm just going to stop. What are you drinking? Is that pink lemonade?
No, it's so for any you watching on YouTube, it is it's summer fruit squash. It's really good.
Oh, good luck. You see, we don't drink alcohol on this podcast. Oh God, see, we got to keep focused. Yeah. So sorry, I just totally lost track of thought there. People were going, I want to hear this, and they go, summer fruits. Oh, I guess some of that. Well, have we got any summer fruits? Jake said it's really, really good.
It is.
It is spot on. As the zone. I don't know where you get it from. Other supermarkets are available.
They are available.
I don't give a shit. I don't get paid for this. I can advertise what I want. So yeah, the Athletic came out the article saying that the Sheikh still owed legal fees.
Yeah.
Everyone went mad. Oh my God. Some went, it's bullshit. It's from the Athletic. Bearing in mind, let's not forget, the person who broke that the takeover was happening was the Athletic.
Yeah.
And I'm assured that the guy, I can't remember his name, is it Matt Slater, I think his name is. Yeah. He is one of the best investigative journalists in the business. He has also worked for the likes of the BBC and things like that. So it's not rubbish. We can't just discredit him because it's not come from John Percy.
Yeah.
And in fairness, I would have expected a rebuttal from John Percy saying a load of crap, but he didn't. What happened next was the statement from the club going, don't worry, everything will be done by Christmas Eve.
Thanks.
Yes, all right, cool.
Kept to that one.
I bet you're thinking, what a life, birthday, the EFL, we beat the EFL. You think Christmas time, yay, takeover.
But
still waiting. It's the 3rd of January. We're still waiting.
If it happens between this, like right now, and this getting posted, imagine.
Imagine the scenes. Ha ha! They made you look like fools, is what they've been saying. But interestingly enough, I've seen some smattering of people thinking that if it doesn't happen tomorrow or today, depending on what day you listen to it, if it doesn't happen Monday the 4th, then it probably isn't going to happen. Because there was there was a report that came out. We ended last year by not paying the players. Okay, actually, we ended 2019 by not paying the players. We ended 2020 by not paying the players.
I think consistency is key when it comes to running a football club.
Yeah.
And the fact that we've done it 2 years in a row is only a positive sign.
Sorry, love, I couldn't get you that expensive ring. I'm not getting paid. You have to wait till Jan, love. Sorry. It's just. But the reason being was because the takeover, the money's not in the lawyer's hands yet. So that suggests that something's going on. So it would suggest that how long does it take? Obviously, this is not transferring 50 quid to your nan. This is 60 million or whatever the reported fee is. It's
a fair amount of money.
Yeah. However, also as well, I have also read and seen from a couple of people, one of them from Salam as well, that we've got to understand that the Sheikh isn't rich.
Yeah.
He is probably on par with Mel Morris. He married into a wealthy family. So he's a Sheikh by marriage.
Yeah.
We need to understand that. What he is an investment manager, and the Bin Zayed Group is a big investment company, and they invest in a load. So the company is worth loads. So he will have a load of investors. And what I've seen is that one of the original backers decided, probably went, they're bottom of the league. I'm not putting my money into that.
Understandably.
Yeah. So we get that. So he's had to find another one, but that's been sorted now, and that's potentially what's caused the delay.
Yeah. Something I heard as well was obviously when they bought the club, this is only a rumor of it, so it could be a load of rubbish. But when they bought the club, obviously the ground and the training ground aren't directly owned by the club, so technically they could buy the club.
Yeah.
But then there's other things they need to get as well, and that's apparently one of the causes of the hold up as well. But I'm not sure how true that is. Could be a load of rubbish, but it does make sense.
I've had a bit of a gander on HMRC website.
Yeah,
as you do, you got to keep having a look, see if they're trying to slip it through the net without announcing it. And there is loans against the training ground from MSD, and obviously we know that Mel Morris sold the ground to himself, so technically he owns the ground. The football club don't.
Yeah.
So obviously there's that to consider as well, which is there's a lot of reasons why it's obviously not just been done and dusted in a week or so, but Burnley had 28 to 48 hours and they got it done. They completed theirs. Let's not forget that. Them. Exactly. So yeah, Jake, then in 3 words, how would you sum up 2020 for Derby County? Put him on the spot.
Trying to think of the words. I've got an idea of what I want to say, but I can't put it into 3 words.
Well, go on then. Just review it then. How you want to say?
I think it's a year where there's been a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups.
Yeah.
But I think there is potential. So I'd say it doesn't really make sense, but I'd say disappointing, but potential. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we do have a decent management team in charge now. We've got a good group of people that know the league, Rossinia, Steve McLaren, in charge. We've got players, apparently, we're looking at players to come in and fill the gaps that we have. We've got players performing in ways we've not seen them perform before. Jason Knight's superhuman at the minute. And with that sort of going on at the minute, I think we've got quite a lot of potential as a team. Maybe not this season, but looking forward to next season. Yeah. I think there's a lot of potential looking forward to the rest of 2021. What about you? What do you say?
It's my show. I don't have to answer that.
Oh, come on.
No. I think in fact, obviously we get our viewers or listeners and viewers to put questions in, and Mick Massey, top clubber on Twitter, is basically asked a similar thing. He says, looking forward to this one. 2020 was a year to largely forget, which in fairness, it pretty much was. But unfortunately, will we easily remember? Oh, sorry, yeah, I get it.
You're struggling, mate.
Struggling, mate. I need to get There's largely, I'll start again. So looking forward to this one. 2020 was a year largely to forget, but unfortunately one we will easily remember. Yeah, too much bad stuff happened.
Spot on.
What will be your everlasting memories of 2020, and what league position will Derby be in on the last day of 2021? Yeah, so I think the everlasting memory is going to be COVID and not having football and trying to get through COVID, trying to get through. You don't realise how much football is a big part of your life.
Oh yeah,
gone.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I know we have a break. We had that sort of break between like May and August. But that break from March where we hit some really good form all the way up until June was just an absolute killer.
It got to the point where I was literally watching Belarusian football. That is the levels I know. That is the levels I'd hit.
That's bad. Wow. Belarusian football, that's amazing. Yeah, because they were still carrying on, weren't they? But yeah, an everlasting memory, I think, for me, it has to be Chris Martin's goal against Forest for 2020, just because I've always been a big fan of Chris Martin. He's a lot of people don't rate him because he's not this fast player. Like everyone seems to like a fast striker, like Aguero. You know what I mean? It's someone that's Martin's more of your. He's more of your Giroud. I like that sort of striker. That sort of one that holds the ball up. It's got a bit of technical skill about him. There's where the back of the net is. And for me, watching Chris Martin last season it reminded me of watching him under McLaren in 13-14 because he just simply got what Cocky was was asking of him, and he was a big part of the resurgence that we had, as well as Wayne Rooney. And that goal for me was, he'd never scored against Forest, so for him to bag it was just a real. But what really got me was obviously there was contract talks going on off at that time. Yeah, and his celebration just hit me as if to say it wasn't going to happen. And I thought, this is, it's probably going to be one of the last times we see Chris Martin in a Derby shirt against Forest, and it was just So that would be a memory for me, even though he did score against Leeds, and I totally forgot. Again, that was the thing. You see, do you know when after we lost a couple of games? Yeah, I started switching off because, as I mentioned, the performances were dire and they weren't enjoyable to watch. Yeah, but 2021, then go on. I answered that last bit. You answered the 2021. Where can you see us on December the 31st, 2021?
I think I'll give two answers. Two, because it all depends on the situation. If the takeover goes through, and we get, I'm not thinking like ridiculous investment, but if we get semi-decent investment and we bring in a couple of players and strengthen the squad and don't lose any of our better players, I can see us being top 6 at this point in 2021. Yeah, we'll have a settled management team by that point. We'll have a good team, and hopefully we'll have plugged the gaps that we've got at the minute. Yeah. If the takeover doesn't go through, or it goes through and it's terrible, and we end up, having problems and we have to let players go, I can see us being low mid-table. I think that's the problem with us as a club at the minute. There's so much we don't know. Yeah. And it's hard to predict, but that would be my prediction. It all depends on what happens in the next couple of weeks, really.
I thought you were going to say League One. Then I was going to kick you off the show right here.
I'm not that pessimistic.
I know somebody would be. That's a good question. That is, 2021 is. I think it. Obviously at the moment, Rooney basically came out the other day on his post-match interview and said he is the manager of this club. So.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
My job. So that Sky Bet have paid out as well.
Yeah, my friends were upset about that. They all had money on Sean Dyche. They were all quite upset.
As well. Yeah, I did as well. I thought Sean Dyche. I don't know. I had a feeling. I had that and Ralph Rangnick. Kill Lewis. Lewis taught me into that.
Lewis did set you up a bit.
Lewis did set me up for a fall there. He really did. Chris Hill on Twitter says, what player would you realistically like Derby to sign or try and sign this window? Yeah, we've got to remember now, transfer window's open.
Yeah.
We'll shoot through this, otherwise we're going to be here for another 3 hours.
We will, yeah.
So transfer window then. Jake, right. What we'll do then, before I answer that question. Okay. So far then, we have been linked with Tom Ince.
Yes.
A return for the King. And we've been linked with Dursun again, who we obviously linked with the summer.
Yeah.
he is still interested in the move.
He's
You
made
can
that
ask me
quite
how
clear.
I know that, and I would tell you privately how I know that. But he is interested in the move still, and so are the club. Regarding whatever, people going, it can't happen because of Brexit. This is football.
There's ways around it.
I've got there will be a way around it, because if
Yeah.
they're gonna take foreign players out of the Championship and things like that because of merit and whatever,
Yeah.
you might as well get rid of the EFL altogether. You just have a Premiership, because that's there's going to be a huge gap.
Yeah.
If you go up.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you know what I mean? So I believe there'll be a way around it. If we're still talking to him and still interested in him, then I believe there will be a way around it. So there we're interested in. And then the other thing that's come through today is, don't believe it because it's from the Sun. Let's be honest, the Sun is a big national newspaper. Yes, they get stuff wrong. They do make things up. They make mistakes, but they also get some stuff right. Jason Knight to Burnley. Oh, we'll start on that one, Jay. We'll start on that. How are you feeling about that? Would you sell him?
I think with Knight, it all depends on how much they'd pay. I think as a footballer, I don't think he's the most naturally gifted footballer. As a technical footballer, I don't think he's like up there with, look at other young players of his age. I don't think he's incredible in that aspect, but he makes up for that with his work rate. And I'm not saying he's a bad footballer. He's a good enough footballer, but then his work rate takes him to that extra level. Yeah. And I think that's why he's looked so impressive this season, because he works so hard. And when you work hard, you get more luck and you do better. So I do think that he's got to be worth over 10 million.
Yeah.
He's got 1.5, well, technically one year in the Championship now, hasn't he? Or 1.5 years in the Championship. He's a full Republic of Ireland international. I think if we let him go for anything other than 10 million or above, I think we've been conned.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I think, he's young. He's 19, 20. From what I've seen as well, obviously I've seen some stuff from Burnley fans, what they're saying, and they're saying that these new owners want up and coming talent.
Yeah.
So there could be something. We don't know if there is something in it, but there could be.
Yeah.
And he is without doubt an up and coming talent. And,
definitely.
People go, "Oh, Burnley aren't a big club, though." Yeah, they might not be, but they're still in the Premier League.
They could become one.
That's the thing. Exactly. They're an established Premier League club now. We can't deny that. Yeah. They're in Europe 2 seasons. Was it 2 seasons ago? Yeah.
2 or 3, yeah.
2 seasons ago. Sean Dyche knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a style of football. He wants grafters in his team.
Yeah.
You don't get anybody that works much harder than Jason Knight. So for me, I'd say 15 million plus, just because of his age as well.
Yeah.
We're seeing these young British talent. I know it's only a change to the Premier League, but if they really want him, make him pay for him, because he would be a big loss to our squad just because of his work rate.
Yeah.
Not only that, I know we're due a takeover, which means we will have money, but we haven't got a bottomless pit.
Yeah.
We are still confined to FFP. We are still on the borderline of FFP as well. So we need to still be very careful about how much we spend. So if we get 15 mil in for Jason Knight, then yeah, by all means, I think sell him, and we can recruit. We can get another player in, that might not be as hardworking as him, but is maybe more of a technical footballer than him.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And I think because people always compare him to Craig Bryson. We used to have a midfielder: Bryson, Hendrick, Hughes, and Thorne. Any 3 of them 4. Bryson was never the best technically gifted footballer. He had 1 season where he knew where the onion bag was. Hendrick wasn't, but he was a workhorse. Hendrick wasn't really a workhorse, but he was more technically gifted.
Yeah.
And that's why he's now in the Premier League. He had a few years at Burnley, and now he's gone to Newcastle, but he's still in the Premier League because he is a technically gifted midfielder.
Yeah.
And I think Jason Knight will, and we saw that Craig Bryson, as hardworking as he is, he only really got that call up to the Premier League was from Cardiff when they got promoted, and he went up he got promoted on loan to them, and they thought, well, we'll try and take him back. Yeah. But he said no, which was nice of him. He was very loyal. God bless him. So it's one of them, isn't it? Yeah. If someone's after you, hard-working midfielder, that's not, like I say, he will get you goals. If you put him in the box, he will get you goals. But there's a lot more that he needs to learn about his game. For me, 10, 15 million, I'd sell him. So what are your thoughts on the links then between Dursun and Ince? Dursun looks like it could be a formality.
Yeah.
It was literally, I've been told by a very good source, extremely good source, that it was literally just the price tag that stopped him coming in August. So surely his price tag is going to go down now.
Yeah, he's got 6 months left, hasn't he?
Yeah,
on his contract. And I think the thing with Dursun as well at the same time is he's flirted with Derby quite a lot.
Yes.
You look at him on social media, like he retweeted something from 11 points, 1 win today, didn't he?
Yeah.
They put a thing up about his stats and he's retweeting it, and he's been liking a lot of tweets that Derby fans have been putting on, talking about him. And yeah, I think he's clearly quite interested in coming to us, and I think that's reciprocated by the fans and probably the club as well, because 9 goals, 3 assists in 13 games is pretty good.
Yeah, and
I'd definitely take that.
Well, yeah, exactly. People, because you will get the folk that say you've never seen him play. How do you know he's good? But stats don't lie.
Yeah.
9 and 3 and 13. Some going, that is.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I can't remember any goals. The stats thing he put up the other day, he retweeted, didn't he, about his performance over the year.
Yeah.
And his stats, I can't remember what it was now.
It was 26 goals in 36 games or something like that.
Are you doing a graphic on that?
I did one on last year. He scored 16 last year. So yeah, it's probably around that.
Yeah. So he was the best. The lead, I think, it was the top goal scorer in 2020 for in the Bundesliga too. So there's clearly a talented player there. He is. If you've not seen him play, he is a similar style of player to CKR, to Chris Martin. He's that hold up striker.
Yeah.
He's got some nice little finesse touches on him. That I think that's one thing that CKR doesn't have is them little. CKR is a. Imagine if you had a player combined of CKR and Chris Martin, then you've got Dursun.
Yeah.
Because
I agree with you with that.
CKR is like Chris Martin, apart from he's more mobile. He just hasn't got them cute touches.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Dursun is, he's more mobile than Chris Martin. I don't think he's as mobile as CKR, but he's got them touches as well as the finishing. And obviously, again, CKR lacks the finishing at times. He should have buried that header against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
He didn't, but it's one of them.
Yeah. I think that's one of them that if you had as much as I love Kazim Richards, and I think anyone that follows me on any social media will know I love Kazim Richards. He's
my tweet.
and yeah, he's a talisman.
Yeah.
I think more than anything, he brings so much to the team, so much more than just goals. But yeah, I think in that position, Dursun had scored that. He'd have put that away. And I think there's a few chances this season where he's got into a great position and just not taken the chance that he really should have taken. And I think as much as Kazim Richards brings to the team, as good as he is, having someone else to also fight for a position is really good. Having especially someone that can score goals and having both options will be brilliant, especially, obviously, hopefully we're not going to go down. Let's be realistic.
No.
Our team is too good to go down. Please don't clip this if we do go down. Our team is...
Someone going to take you wrong.
Our team, on paper, and the way we've performed on the pitch in the last few weeks is too good to go down.
Yeah.
And I think if we had a little bit of extra quality, we could climb the table quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dursun would be a good sign, and Ince is another interesting one.
Yes or no?
I would.
Yeah.
Simply because at the minute, if you look at our wide options, we've got Juszczyk, we've got Waghorn, we've got Lawrence, and I'd say we've got Holmes as well.
Yeah.
I don't really class Sibley as a winger. I think he's a bit of a square peg in a round hole at the minute because we don't really have any other options there. But he can play that role as well. But I'd say only really Juszczyk is an out-and-out wide player. Lawrence played before he signed for us. He played more in the middle. Waghorn sort of drifted between up front and on the wing for his whole career. Holmes has played quite a lot in the middle, played out wide a bit as well. Sibley's only played 2 games in his senior career as a winger. if you bring in Ince, who was so good for us, I know he's gone off a little bit in the last few years, but then again, he did before he signed for us. You know, he'd flopped at Hull, he'd flopped at Forest.
Yeah.
You bring him in, put him on one wing, use Fiac on the other, get them both to run at teams, and teams will be terrified of playing us.
Yeah.
If you've got Durston or Kazim Richards up front, laying the ball off to one of those two, running down the wing, cutting inside, cutting outside, we could score so many goals.
Oh, God.
And, you know, I know that a lot of people question Ince's attitude and stuff like that. And I know he has a bit of a reputation of not smiling very much. But, I think he's a brilliant player. And I don't see a negative of bringing him into the team, especially if it's a loan move.
Yeah.
I don't see how that would, you know, be a bad thing for the team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, last time he came in alone in January, he scored 11 in 18 games. So
yeah,
some players. I said this about McLaren. Some people just fit certain clubs. McLaren clearly fits Derby. Yeah. Maybe Ince just fits Derby.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because yes, he, like I said, at Blackpool, Ince tore it up. At Hull, not so much. Forest, absolute dross.
Yeah.
Comes to Derby, no one sort of batted an eyelid when he came to Derby, to be honest.
He joined at the same time as Lingard, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he got lost in the
signings. Yeah, because Lingard obviously was like, oh, Man United, you know, loan. Because it was just where did we? I can't remember where we loaned Ince from. It's from Hull, weren't it?
It's from Hull. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, we've loaned Jesse Lingard from Man United and Tom Ince from Hull or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was Ince who stole the show. Yeah, Lingard's playing for Man United, which is still can't believe because he's Dealing. So that pretty much answers that question. Unless there's anybody else you want to sign. Realistically.
Realistically. I mean, if you look at our team, I'd say our biggest weaknesses are we only have one out-and-out winger. We only have one out-and-out striker.
Yeah.
I'd say if we were going to sign anyone, I think we need a bit of depth at centre-half. Because
what? You just totally contradicted yourself. We've only got one out-and-out winger, one out-and-out striker, but we need a centre-half.
We do. If think about it on paper, because obviously Davis is gone. I don't know whether Davis will play for us again, which is quite sad.
Yeah.
We don't have really anyone. We have two out-and-out centre-halves. If you class Wisdom as a centre-half, you know, he's played most of his career at right-back. But
his brother classes him as centre-half.
Yeah, he played centre-half for Salzburg as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
But you've got Wisdom who's a centre-back. You know, you've got Clark who's on loan, who's a centre-back. And then you've got George Evans who sort of plays midfield, and defence. So, and, you know, if Wisdom picks up an injury or Clark picks up an injury, all of a sudden, we're down to bare bones. Yeah.
Get it.
So, I think if we could bring in, obviously Durston seems to be quite a good bet. If Ince comes in on loan and maybe we get a centre-back from a big team that's not featured this season. Yeah, Tomori, please come back.
Yeah.
But we get a player from a big team that's, you know, not featured very much. Yeah. I think that'd be good business. I think that'd be a really good window.
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I could talk about it all day. We'll have to do another podcast just solely on transfers.
Go on forever.
It will do. Ryan Matheson says, is Jake Barker really that stupid?
Yeah.
Fair enough. There you go. Good. Lucy Hackett then on Instagram, she says, do you think it was a penalty end or not? Obviously referring to the Sheffield Wednesday game. That was the most blatant penalty I've ever seen in my life.
I got so much stick in a group chat. My mates at uni, we have a big football group chat. And everyone was like, oh, no, it's not a penalty. I was like, yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't even need to see a replay to say that wasn't a penalty. That ball clearly hit his arm, changed direction.
Yeah. I know.
Yes, his arm was down by his side, but it wasn't tucked in. It was out slightly.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's handball. It's hit his hand.
Yeah, I agree.
If that was given against us, I would have said exactly the same thing. Yeah, it's penalty.
Yeah,
and I will be honest, because when Waggy got sent off, I was sat watching it with my nephew, and I went, that's a red card. As soon as he's put the foul in, I went, that's a red card. KPJ03 says, what positions do we need to strengthen in January? I'd say left back, centre half, striker. Okay,
left back.
We've mentioned striker, we've mentioned centre half, so we agree with you there. Left back, Fozzie and Buchanan, we've got them covered surely.
Yeah, we've got Forsyth, we've got Buchanan. You've got Jordan Brown in the youth team as well, who can also play at left back.
I think we're all right for a left back. Hey, we're not. KP, let us
know. Yeah, let us know.
Let us know.
Say, let us know. Let you know.
Let me know. Jake, I know you're pushing. I know you're pushing for, for a combination of me and you. We can do it permanent if you want. You'll have to sack off your knee. Just let Jacob do it on his own with the other two guys. They know I found a better one. Dylan Ball says, prime positions role we need to bolster in the upcoming window. If possible, we have done that. So it's a good choice. I knew a lot of these questions were going to be transfer ones, but yeah, I think we've definitely covered all of that. Oh man, right. I've got two questions. Well, one's a comment from Roy Gibson, who is one of my regular listeners. He says, as I have always experienced, the Rams can make you either euphoric or despair with their ability to do the unexpected. But one thing you can say is that they're never dull. Make sure as a supporter, you have a strong heart. Wayne is absolutely right in that more clarity is needed to avoid continued confusion on the ownership, manager, and transfers. We have no chance of predicting where we may finish in this table this season until we know the answers. He's spot on, isn't he?
He's spot on, yeah.
He really is. Rooney's right. If there's no clarity, I think that's why he's basically just going to say, I'm the manager. I'm the manager of the club, because he's putting it down. I'm the manager, which says to me that whether he's agreed it with Mel, we know that he was supposed to be talking to the no owners. They probably said, yep, whatever, the job's yours.
Yeah.
One thing I will say, though, if Rooney is the manager, he doesn't need to be getting his own backroom staff in this season. I don't think so. At the moment, keep it as it is. Keep McLaren on as technical advisor. Again, that move has to be sanctioned by the new owners once they take over.
Yeah.
They need to keep him there.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I feel if they don't, and you're left with Rooney and potentially Rosenior, no disrespect to them, they're way out their depth.
Yeah, they've not got the experience.
No. I've said before, I've said it again, I wanted an experienced manager when the takeover, whenever a new manager would be appointed. However, I've changed on that, said, yeah, Rooney's doing a great job. Let Rooney take the plaudits. That's fine. Yes, he's doing a great job managing.
Yeah.
Coaching-wise, anybody that watched, you could put on any game from 2013-14 and put on a game against Birmingham, the game against Swansea, and go, Christ almighty. They're so identical, it's ridiculous. One thing I will say that Rooney's improved is our defence.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When we played under McLaren before, even George Thorne mentioned it in the article that Jacob wrote. Jacob Hackett, by the way, is one of our friends.
Good article.
Twice I've mentioned him now.
Very good article.
He's a journalist. He wrote a brilliant article, which you can find on my Twitter feed. I've also posted it on Facebook as well. It's fun with Jake's. With George Thorne. And George Thorne said, we had a mentality that we'd go out and score more than anybody else. So it didn't matter if we conceded.
Yeah.
At the moment, I still think we're not at that point.
Yeah, I agree.
At the moment, if we go behind, you automatically think, well, we're not even going to get a draw out of this. And Sheffield Wednesday was case in point in that.
They proved it, yeah.
We battered them for about 35 minutes, I'd say, the first half. Didn't take our chances. Conceded a sloppy goal, midway through the second half. And then we didn't look really like scoring apart from maybe getting that penalty at the end.
Yeah, I agree. I think, that's the problem with us this season, is that it's not I wouldn't say it's a character thing. I think it's just the fact that I don't know if we believe we can do it. When we went 1-0 down, we didn't seem to batter the doors down. Like we played in the first 30 minutes. We battered the doors down on Wednesday and just couldn't score. And I think once we went 1-0 down, maybe our heads dropped a little bit. And we thought, we've not won coming from behind all season. I don't think we can do it again. Yeah,
it's literally... That's the mentality we need to just put on now. Is if we do go behind, we can beat any team in this championship. That's the attitude they need to have.
Yeah,
but I believe we can. The squad we've got, the way we're playing, we've got enough quality in there. We've said it since the transfer window in August. This has been one of our best. The only slight doubt was a striking option.
Yeah.
But again, CKR's come in and he's been a bit of a revelation. Yeah, he could probably do it at 34. He's not had the greatest scoring record, but he's bagged 3 in his last 15, in his first 15. I can't believe he's had 15 appearances for us on Red.
Yeah, I know. He got quite a few sub appearances, didn't he? At the start, he come on for like 2 minutes at the end of the game.
Yeah, so I think it's probably more like 3. I think it started, 7 games he started?
Let's go 3 and 7.
Yeah.
Let's just count that,
It should have been 4, realistically, against Sheffield. But if he can start finding the onion bag more regularly, then happy days. Then obviously, again, if we can get Dursun in and he can do it in this league, we'll be fine.
I heard an interesting stat earlier. So Tom Ince, in his 3 years at Derby, scored more goals than Kazim Richards has in his career. Genuinely. I know.
Wow.
That is crazy. And he's a winger.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what exactly. Yeah, he's not done it. We know that he hasn't done it since he's left us. He didn't do it at Huddersfield in the Premier League. He didn't do it at Stoke. But let's be honest, Huddersfield were a sinking ship when they got promoted. Should have never been promoted. They were awful.
Yeah.
How they got out of this league, I don't know. They weren't one of the third best team or second best team in this league. They were shite.
They were poor.
Even Reading battered him in the playoff final. They just got lucky on penalties. Reading absolutely destroyed them. And I can't believe they managed to stay up here for lasted 2 seasons in the Premier, to be honest.
They did well, to be fair.
That is their first season. They had that back end of the season. They had sort of like a really good run back the last 8 games, which kept them up. But that was about it. Other than that, poor. And then go to Stoke, where they've been through numerous managers, numerous sort of. He's under Gary Rowett. He ain't going to play good football under Gary Rowett. We saw it when Rowett had him before. He was isolated too much.
Yeah.
Tom Ince likes that freedom.
Yeah.
And that's what playing a McLaren style way or Rooney style way is what I'll call it.
Yeah.
He'll get.
Exactly. Like, look at Juszczyk last game and the Birmingham game. He'd just appear in different places. He'd just pop up. He'd just go wherever he wanted. Yeah. If someone moves, so if Sibley went onto the right for a little bit, he'd go onto the left. He'd drift into the middle. There was one bit in the Preston game where we had a couple of minutes. Not the Preston game. Who did we play last?
Swansea, Sheffield Wednesday.
In the Sheffield Wednesday game. Yeah, we got there. Kazim Richards was on the right wing.
Yes.
And Juszczyk was in the middle. Yeah. And then Sibley was on the left. Yeah. And it's that sort of like rotation and freedom that I think, Ince would probably thrive in that sort of system.
Definitely. Right. One last one from Prayers Grill.
Oh, let's go.
It's a tough one. I don't know if we should do a combined one.
Oh.
All-time DCFC 11. Yeah, but Jake, you're only about 12.
I don't feel qualified to do this.
Well, we'll have to do it all-time 11 from my era. So we'll do like a player at a time. So I'll start if you want. We'll go goalkeeper. So for me, has to be Mark Poom. Right, you go for left back.
Oh, you've given me literally the hardest position. Left back, and I can't say Craig Forsyth. I can't remember who the left back, or it's like a left half. Was it called back then?
What, in the Premier League?
Yeah, there's one that my dad always talks about, but I've completely forgotten his name.
Chris Powell.
Chris Powell. There we go. that's a great shout. We'll go with Chris Powell.
Oh my goodness. Right, centre back then. Igor Stimac's got to be there for me.
Roy McFarland for me.
Roy McFarland. Cry, Cheek. I said from our time. You've gone back even older than I am.
I've watched a lot of videos of my granddad.
So we've got Igor and Roy in the centre. Then right back. Right back's a difficult one for me because I can only really think of Gary Rowett and him and an all-time Derby 11 just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
We've not really had the greatest of right backs, have we?
I think fullback's a hard one, isn't it? Yeah, that's why I struggled at left back because aside from Chris Powell, I can't really think of any left back we've really had that's been like.
Well, Forsyth's been here forever, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Then you've had the likes of I was going to say Gary Teal then.
Paul Bowerton.
Paul. God, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
You
have to think back to the Premier League days. It's like that's what I'm saying. Like the right back position in the Premier League days, which is where I was watching him every single week and everything, like full on. It was Gary Rowett, but surely he's not been our best right back. Surely not. I can't think of another.
I think in like our lifetimes, I reckon he probably is.
Yeah. Gary Rowett makes the Rams right.
A reluctant Gary Rowett.
11. That's it. Viewers have just gone, fuck off. I'm not listening again. As opposed to Snake.
They've listened long enough at this point now.
If you're still here, thanks.
Fair play.
Fair play, yeah. It's longer than we thought. What are we going for? We're going to 4-2-2 or 4-3-3? We'll go 4-3-3. Just makes it easier. Go on then.
Yeah,
centre mid then. Holding or centre mid.
Holding or centre mid. Ooh. Are we doing like your lifetime or are we doing all time? I know I've put Roy McFarland in there now.
Yeah, you might as well go whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. We've got players like Franny Lee that played for us. Unbelievable players back in the 70s.
Look at his face.
I know he never did it in the Premier League. Idiakes is one of the best players I've ever seen in a Derby shirt. Yeah. I thought he was unbelievable when he played for us. Maybe it's just because I was like 8 years old.
Yeah,
and I remember it a little bit differently. But
he was
such a good player.
The thing was that he was sort of like on his last legs when he came to us. But he sort of, he came from I can't remember. He came from Spanish second league, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that.
He sort of just became this integral player of our team. So I would have actually gone either him or Aranio.
Yeah, Aranio was another one I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember if he played centre mid or not. But yeah, I think Aranio. Could put them both in.
Yeah, we'll go 4-4-2 then. Bugger it.
Yeah, we'll go 4-4-2.
So we've got Aranio and Idiakes. So left mid. He's always the hard one. Centre, dead easy.
Centre, yeah. Left mid. Alan Hinton's got to have a shout.
Oh, that's a shout. That is. It's a very good shout. Look at him. You've been reading up.
Yeah, I've done my homework.
Done his homework though. All right, so we've got Alan Hinton then. Who else? I'm trying to think now. So I'm tempted to put the other Italian in there. I'm tempted to put Baiano in there.
Yeah, Aranio and Baiano together.
I'm thinking about Ince as well, especially his first one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's such a tough
call. I think the fact that they did it in the Premier League and in the Championship probably edges it for them.
Gotta go Baiano.
Baiano's a good call.
Top two then. Who we got up front?
So many I can think of. We've got
King Kev, you got Bobby, you've got
Steve Bloomer. Wow, get him in.
Sturridge, you've got all these. Oh, man.
Charlie George.
George. Oh, crikey me. Was he more of a midfielder, though? I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I think he was more attacking midfielder. Striker. Yeah.
It's tough, isn't it, picking an 11?
Kevin Hector's definitely got to be in there, mainly because he's our record appearance maker.
Yeah. Right, okay. So we've got King Kev.
Go on, you pick the other one.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I might go Dean Saunders.
That's a good call. It's a good player, Dean Saunders.
All my older listeners will be like, I like these guys. They're talking about players that I'll go. Yeah, there we go. Dean Saunders then. That's an 11.5. That is, I think. That's a good 11.
It's a strange blend of eras.
There would be. Yeah. There'd be plenty of players that made the bench. I mean, look at the people that were forgotten, like Van der Laan, captain us to the Premier League. One shot. I was going to say Dion Burton then, but I can't really. He was gash. He was awful.
Yeah, Sturridge.
Sturridge, what a player.
Ravanelli. Oh.
Don't you dare mention Ravanelli in the top 11. Oh, my God. The man came for a paycheck.
The Ketchiania as well.
Oh, God, yeah. We should do that. One day we'll have to do the worst.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be, all these old players tuning in going, do them in there.
It's not very nice.
Like Liam Neeson was, I'll find you and I would kill you. Right, that wraps it up. Otherwise, I can see us being here till about 10. So, yeah. If you're still listening, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, thank you.
Follow me on Twitter at Ramswriter. I am also on Facebook at the Ramswriter Podcast and on Instagram at the Ramswriter Podcast. Dead easy. You can also follow Jake.
You can follow me, Jake Barker 1212 on most things, and I've got a podcast that's friends with Simon's podcast called.
Whoa!
Yeah. No, I'm going to shout it.
You're not plugging your pod. Go on, plug it. It's fine.
It's called Not Another Derby Podcast, as you can understand the joke, because there are lots.
Yeah, we do seem to collect them.
We're all friends, though. It's all good.
We are. We all have a good laugh together, and we all combine. Some of us do anyway. Yeah, so there was a laugh. It was a bit of a long show. Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, it was. So good.
It was a lot longer than I expected it to be. Let me tell you that, but we got there. Thank you guys for listening as always. Remember to like and subscribe on YouTube, on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcast from. There's a lot of them. So yeah, anyway, guys, I shall see you next time. And as always, and Jake might see you again as well at some point.
He might.
He might do. And as always, come on, Derby.
Come on, Derby.